You ever notice how the people who move on the fastest are the ones you start thinking about the most? Like the quieter they get, the more space they take up in your mind. It's weird, right? You'd think silence means forgetting. Like if someone just stops showing up, they'll fade out. But that's not how the mind works, especially not when it comes to energy, presence, emotion. The truth is, it's not the silence that makes you miss someone. It's the shift. It's watching someone evolve while you're still stuck in the same chapter. Women don't sit around missing the guy who vanished. They miss the way he made them feel before he stopped showing up for himself. That's what lingers. It's not your absence that haunts them. It's who you're becoming in that absence. And most men don't get this. They think no contact is a strategy. They go silent hoping she'll chase. But you can't force someone to care by removing yourself. You make them care by becoming someone worth remembering. It's not about playing games. It's about playing your role in your own life at the highest level. When you disappear with no growth, you're easy to forget. But when you step back and start elevating, your energy sharpens, your presence shifts, your silence gains weight. That's what sticks with her. That's what plays in her mind at a M. You didn't just go away. You upgraded. You didn't go ghost. You went God mode. And when she sees that, when she feels the difference between who you were and who you're becoming, that's when she starts missing you in a way that silence alone could never cause. So don't just fall back, rise up. Not to prove something to her, but to become someone you respect more than you ever needed her to. The moment you find yourself trying to explain your worth to a woman, you've already stepped out of your power. That urge to send long texts, to clarify your intentions, to prove you've changed, it's a trap. Because the truth is, value that needs to be explained is already being questioned. Real worth is felt, not argued. And when a woman feels your energy, your presence, your self-assuredness without you saying a word, that's when she knows. But most guys can't sit in that silence. They feel the pull to defend, to plead, to paint a picture of who they are becoming, when really the only thing that needs to speak is their evolution. Stop talking and start becoming. Level up in a way that doesn't beg for her recognition, but forces it. Let your progress be so obvious, so undeniable, that it doesn't matter who's watching. That's how you shift everything. Because here's the truth. Women don't miss paragraphs. They don't miss your "in working on myself" texts. They miss the man who walked in the room and changed the temperature. The man who had presence, not pressure. The one who was magnetic, without trying. So you want to get her attention? Don't try to get her attention. Focus so deeply on yourself, on your healing, on your grind, that your glow up speaks louder than anything you could ever say. That's when she feels it. That's when the questions start. Why does he seem different? Why isn't he trying anymore? Why does he look happier now than when he was with me? That's the game changer. So don't chase clarity. Become clarity. Don't try to explain who you are, embody it. Because when you stop explaining and start becoming, that's when she'll finally see what she lost without you having to say a single word. When she pulls back, most guys panic. They spiral. They start stalking her socials, checking who she's with, overthinking every moment of silence, like it's some kind of test. They're failing. But here's what they don't realize. The second you shift your focus to her actions, you lose all your power. You hand it over, piece by piece, to someone who isn't even showing up for you anymore. That's how you become a shadow of yourself, constantly reacting, constantly reaching. But real strength, real control, it's not about chasing her. It's about anchoring into yourself so deeply that nothing she does can shake your ground. Your power isn't in her hands. It's in your discipline, your vision, your momentum. When you stop orbiting around her, she feels it. Maybe not right away, but eventually, that stillness, that sudden absence of your attention hits her differently. Because she was used to you watching, waiting, responding. She was used to being the center of your emotional focus. And now you're no longer there. You didn't ghost. You didn't rage. You just reclaimed your center. You focused in on your body, on your mind, on your goals. You showed up for yourself in a way you were once showing up for her. And that's the shift that messes with her mind. That's the absence she starts to feel, not because you went silent, but because your energy is no longer available for her to feed off. See, it's easy to disappear. It's harder to stay visible and untouchable. And that's where real power lives, not in vanishing, but in being so locked in on your mission that her moves no longer dictate your pace. Stay where your power is. Because when your life becomes the thing you're most invested in, she'll notice she's no longer the focus, and that's when the tables turn. You can block her. You can delete her number, unfollow her on every platform, erase every text thread like it never happened. But if she still lives in your mind, if she's still a ghost sitting in the back row of every thought, you're not free, you're just pretending. Cutting contact is surface level. The real separation starts in your head, and most guys skip that part. They think distance equals detachment, but emotional freedom is way deeper than disappearing from her feed. If you're still running through old conversations, still checking her story when no one's around, still replaying what you should have said or done differently, you're not over her. You're stuck in an invisible loop, and that's what keeps her energy alive in your world. You have to cut the strings you can't see, the ones tied to memory, to guilt, to fantasy. You stop caring not by forcing it, but by reclaiming that energy and pouring it into something real yourself. Because here's the truth. When you genuinely stop needing her to think of you, when you stop imagining her reaction to your glow up, and just focus on the glow up itself, everything shifts. That's not being cold. That's being healed. You're not bitter, you're clear. And when you get to that space, you stop checking if she noticed. You stop wondering if she'll reach out. You stop caring who she's with, because you're no longer defined by your past role in her story. That's when the real shift happens, not when you cut her off, but when her presence in your mind fades. That's when she truly feels your absence. Not because you vanished, but because you stopped projecting energy in her direction. And when that happens, when there's no more emotional pull left, that's when she starts to feel everything you already let go of. Anyone can be unavailable. Anyone can ignore messages, go off the grid, stop showing up. But that's not power. That's avoidance. Being unreachable, though, that's a whole different level. That's not just about cutting someone off, it's about becoming so elevated, so locked into your peace, that nothing they do can touch you. It's not that she can't contact you, it's that even if she did, the version of you who used to need her doesn't exist anymore. She might still have your number, but the man who used to answer, who used to flinch at her silence, who used to wait for her attention, he's gone. Not hidden, not bitter, just transformed. And when you reach that space, everything changes. She won't just feel distance. She'll feel disconnection from the emotional access she once had. The buttons she used to push, they don't work anymore. The words that used to get a reaction, met with calm. The silence that used to make you chase, doesn't move you. That's what makes you unreachable, not being absent, but being unshakable. She'll notice it not in the way you ignore her, but in the way you're unaffected. You're smiling more, moving freer, carrying yourself like a man who is fulfilled, not just trying to fill a void. That's the kind of transformation that can't be faked. It radiates. It shifts the air when you walk into a room. And eventually, She'll feel the change and start wondering if she ever really knew you at all. Because this isn't about playing hard to get. This is about becoming so full of direction, purpose, and peace that nothing from the past can reach the man you are now. You're not unavailable, you're untouchable. That's not a defense mechanism. That's elevation. And it's the most attractive form of freedom there is.